Students with disabilities and special learning disabilities are more likely to be incarcerated because the way that the school system's set up is that teachers will remove them from class for disruptive behavior and then give them an office referral, and then this becomes repetitive, and after so many office referrals, the schools will kick the student out, and then they're home alone during the day, which allows them to have more free reign and access to commit delinquent activities. I do think this is because of the structure and policies of the school. A student with a disability doesn't really all the time have the ability to control their urges or outbursts, and I don't think that's for the school to be able to punish. I think it needs to be corrected rather than punished. I think that teachers often have a limited behavior management skills, because I just don't think that we're taught a lot about students with disabilities unless you're minoring in special education. I think now this class is implemented it a lot more, but I do think that there's just not a lot of education on it or on the different disabilities that there are and the characteristics of those disabilities. And obviously each student's different, and I think that teachers just need to take more time to to learn their students and learn the way that they react to things and the way that they learn. I think that it's important for every teacher to know their students individually. And especially, I think that there could be more education when teachers are going through college and stuff, just to bring awareness to it and to help diminish that pipeline that's from the schools to the juvenile detention centers. One thing that surprised me about the history of special education in the United States was the story of Helen Keller. Back in 1887, whenever Helen was 7, she didn't have access to any education unless her parents could pay for it, and that was the common theme back then, is if your family didn't have enough money to help a student with disabilities, then they just didn't get any education whatsoever. It's changed my thinking on it, just because it's just crazy to me that people think that just because somebody has a disability or is different than them, that they didn't deserve to have the same education or even any education at all, unless it was paid for or they were fortunate enough to be able to pay for it. I think the biggest change to the IDEA movement would be the partial inclusion, just because while full inclusion allows students to get all of their special education needs in a regular academic classroom, some students are very different, and some students need space when they're overwhelmed or just need extra help on reading and math. And I think the partial inclusion allows this because it gives them a way to get the help that they specifically need, whether that's in a resource room or in a special education classroom, or even on a special education schools, like a day at a special education school. But I do think this was the biggest change because it allows students to get the education that they deserve and the help that they need that might not be offered in just a regular academic classroom.